So on the 20th of January, Occupy Oakland took to the streets and thousands of people came to the Kaiser Center to occupy an abandoned building and to open it up as a social center for Occupy Oakland and for the larger Oakland community. To open the building, which had been vacant since 2006, and to establish it as a place where folks could come and have a dry night's sleep, have a warm meal, have some basic health services, and also to come together with community and to really talk about the issues that are affecting us and to organize and to strategize about how we can resist the systems of oppression and domination that we live under every day.
The objective was to get a large building where we might be able to have our meetings indoors, especially during winters, and have a good kitchen where we could provide not only for ourselves as a movement, but provide for the homeless population in this town who do not have kitchens and do not have food half the time, have spaces for people to gather and have a library and every other kind of regular social function that a community space would have.
Occupy Oakland is marching to go occupy a building to have a home base. They're kicking folks out of Oscar Grant Plaza, so we're gonna go take a building.
We gathered outside the Kaiser Center, marched to the building, and attempted to occupy it. The police state was out in full force. It used tear gas and rubber-coated steel bullets, beanbag guns, and percussion grenades against the protesters.
I saw smoke, so I know that they at least put out smoke bombs and or tear gas early on. So some of us took a roundabout way to get over on the other side of where those police officers were, and we everybody regathered up on the roads away from the building, and then police surrounded us and stopped us from any forward motion. I was actually up on a ramp at Laney College, up on the college property, taking video at the same time I was snapping still shots, and I was watching as police began shooting rubber bullets, they were shooting explosive devices, and they were shooting tear gas, and we were all gassed.
I am Sergeant Bautista, peace officer for the city of Oakland. I hereby declare this to be an unlawful assembly. And in the name of the people of the state of California, command all those assembled to immediately leave the area. If you do not do so, you may be arrested or subject to removal by force if necessary, which may result in serious injury.
We are the people of California. You are a violation of the people of California. You are a violation of people of California. Police, leave.
Go away.
We are not doing any vandalism. We are not destroying any property.
I started tasting a little tear gas in the back of my mouth, and then I saw a shot, and it landed right where some people had these like corrugated metal sort of barricadey things, and everybody started running, and then you could really kind of taste the tear gas.
Fight back! Stand up, fight back! Stand up, fight back! It's under attack! Stand up, fight back! It's under attack! What do you do? Stand up, fight back! It's under attack! Where are we going? Oakland is under attack!
Cops are just being really aggro, pushing us. I saw them earlier, some people on bikes, they were attacking people. Some of the cops were really getting into it and running ahead, and the other cops had to actually hold them back. A couple of my friends are in handcuffs. But no, I mean, they're just pushing us and pushing us.
Several people were brutally injured. But Occupy Oakland really fought back, and it really held its own, and the veracity I saw in the streets this weekend was really inspiring.
We came back to the plaza, we gathered here and rested up, and then ate some food. Some people did what we needed to do, and then another march began to attempt a second occupation, which was a really short march to attempt an occupation of a space that had been previously occupied. And there were painters in there that stopped us from going in there. So we came along right nearby the plaza here, and somebody opened a fire hydrant, which actually waylaid police for a minute, and the marchers went that way. I stayed and took pictures of police going through the fire hydrant, and then the march continued on to 19th and Telegraph, which is another area we had previously occupied.
They ended up kettling us first at the 19th and Telegraph. I was there in 19th and Telegraph where they blocked us off the exits. They asked us to disperse, but yet they gave us no exits to disperse. They began to pop tear gas and shoot rubber bullets. The people began to panic. We decided collectively or intuitively to knock down the fence to create an exit out, and that's what we did.
During that time, people went to just were marching, and as they were marching, they were waylaid by police again and kettled into in front of the YMCA, where they were surrounded by police. And when they were given an order to disperse, they were not given a path to disperse at all. They were completely surrounded and pushed into the building.
Allow us to disperse! Allow us to disperse! Allow us to disperse! Allow us to disperse!
I'm trying to get a camera.
Allow us to disperse! 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 The whole world is watching! 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 The whole world is watching!
I don't want to be here if you let me leave.
We want to go. We want to leave. Let us leave.
There were people working inside the building who voluntarily opened the doors to the building to let people get in and escape out the back way. The police followed people in. Some escaped and others were arrested, and at least one person reported being arrested and charged with felony burglary of the YMCA, even though they were walked in, through an open door. And a lot of people are being released today, but plenty of people had their belongings stolen. People who were cited and released had their belongings stolen. People who were jailed and released had their belongings stolen by police. Their phones have been stolen, their cameras have been stolen, our sound system has been stolen, and the police are continuing to surround us here today.
The whole tactic at that night, from my opinion, was to gather as many people as they can to arrest a mass group of people. I truly believe that they were just entirely exhausted from the day's events, and they were, of course, undermanned and exhausted, and therefore they want to end this as soon as possible, so they used violence as tactics to end the protest march that was happening at the time.
Originally, and I was told when I was there looking from the outside, because I was outside of the police line, that they attempted to occupy the YMCA building, and I heard that reported a few times. Later on, I learned from other people that what happened was that there were some children in the march. They were at the YMCA building, and in order not to be, because they were afraid they were going to be tear gassed, the YMCA opened its doors so the children and a few other people can get in, and they actually went out the back through another door to get out of the scene.
In the evening, after Occupy Oakland had been kettled and over 400 people had been arrested, a group of occupiers went to City Hall, that it was already open, and went inside and, as had been stated previously, occupied the building and let their anger at City Hall be known, made a ruckus and made a visualization of the anger that they felt at City Hall and at the treatment of Occupy Oakland that day, but also the treatment of the city of Oakland more broadly.
So on Saturday night, I originally was at 24th and Broadway at the YMCA, where 100 or so people were arrested. Then when I came back to do just one more lap around the plaza at City Hall to see what was happening, I came upon the steps of City Hall, and I noticed, without anyone being there, that the door was propped open, some type of a stand or something I don't quite remember. I barely even noticed it until I noticed a few of the people who were still here with the Occupy suddenly run to the door, opened up the door, and then they all went in. But I didn't see anyone break into City Hall. The door was open when I got here. Again, there was no one there, and it was propped open. I don't know who propped it open, how it got propped open, but that's what I saw when I got here. Then some people went inside. A lot of people didn't go inside. You could tell there was a lot of people were hesitant to go inside. It seemed like a very major thing to do. The people who did go inside, they went into, I believe, the city council chamber, brought out the American flag that was in there, and then tried to burn it. They didn't burn the whole thing, but they tried to burn it out here. There are people saying they shouldn't do it. Obviously, one of those usual arguments that erupt when something like this happens between even the occupiers. Then the police showed up, fired some flash grenades, smoke bombs, and it dispersed.
I have multiple sclerosis, and I was denied medication while I was in Santa Rita, and I was not only denied medication, but I was made fun of because I have it by the guards.
I was held for 53 hours for a misdemeanor charge, which every single person here and there knows will never be brought, and indeed which will be met with a class action suit for wrongful arrest that the City of Oakland will be compelled to settle. I have a perforated peptic ulcer. Early on in the stay, I requested non-prescription care, liquid antacid, which the jail keeps on hand, when I began to have an ulcer attack, which is to say, when I began to bleed internally. I was not given such care until an attorney was able to intervene by phone many hours later. I received one capsule, which was mildly effective for about 3 hours. Further requests were ignored.
And you don't talk about the people here that are out here trying to make things better. You know, focusing on people throwing rocks when I got the shit beat out of me and denied medication and made fun of, and that happened both times I went to jail. And these are the only times I went to jail. And it was like, why did you go to jail? Oh, supporting campers. It's just stupid. It's ridiculous.
Jean Quan was elected on a progressive ticket, and I think she feels a certain amount of ownership over the language of social issues and progressive issues. Much like the Obama administration, she was elected on a ticket of change and of progress, and she's really failed to deliver on that.
Well, I know that Jean Quan has called on the leaders of Occupy Wall Street to denounce or distance themselves from Occupy Oakland. I mean, it's ridiculous on a million levels. First of all, there is no leadership. We're all leaders. Second of all, I think that we are standing in solidarity with Occupy Oakland. Everyone I've talked to is outraged at what Jean Quan herself has done. I mean, what she's basically done is unleash unparalleled violence against the citizens that she is sworn to protect. To then attack them and say, well, some of them fought back a little, so therefore I'm calling on you to denounce them, is quite outrageous. And I think insofar as there is a leadership of Occupy Wall Street, and again, it's 2 or 3 million strong at this point, I think we're calling on Jean Quan to resign.
If she thinks she could contact somebody like a parent, like Occupy Wall Street is our parent group, and tell them to make them stop like we're children because she can't do it, shows how naive she is and shows that her years of activism that she used to get elected, it went all for none, meaning that she did not attach to any of the basic rules that she adhered to become an activist. She is now clearly a politician, and for that I have no respect for that. I believe that what we're doing is right and just, and that's why it's coming with so much repression.
We didn't succeed in securing our social center, but we did succeed in opening up a conversation about the use of space in this city. There are hundreds of vacant, abandoned buildings sitting empty, and they remain empty despite the fact that there are thousands of people sleeping on the streets every night, freezing, and especially with the rainy season coming, we think that this is a crime. And the reason these buildings remain closed is just because they're private property. A proposition was passed on Sunday for a general strike on May 1st.
Okay, so the basic proposal is that Occupy Oakland will join in enthusiastically with the call for a national and global general strike on May 1st, May Day 2012, and we encourage all other occupies, all other social movements in the world, in this country, to join on to that call as well and make May 1st a massive general strike across the world. With 200 exactly votes yes, a strike has passed. No stand aside, 0 no's, 200, 200. No no's, no stand asides.
Well, what everybody's talking about now, they're focusing on May 1st and the general strike. I think that it's not just going to be a general strike, it's going to be a way of flexing our muscles and also as an organizing tool to start general assemblies and similar experiments of direct democracy on every level of American society. We need to make this as broad as possible. The camps were a wonderful way to advertise the idea of direct democracy, of self-governing autonomous communities, but now we've got to bring that home to people's ordinary lives and create a process whereby all communities in America can become autonomous, self-organizing communities in defiance of a political system which nobody sees as any longer representing them in any serious way.
And I have a lot of hope that that can grow to be something really inspiring, but I also hope that we see many actions between now and then, continuing reappropriations of misused space and of abandoned spaces and a real expansion of our capacity. In Oakland and across the United States, I think one thing that has been so inspiring about the Occupy movement and about the Oakland Commune in particular is that we're not making demands of power. We're not asking for change. We're making the change ourselves. We're building resilient communities that can take care of ourselves, that can feed ourselves, that can house ourselves, and that can resist capitalism and the failures of representative democracy.